for having me at this important hearing. I'm here today to introduce Jessica Gorman. Jessica should not be here today. She should not be testifying before Congress. She should be back in New York with her daughters, Madeline and Sheridan, enjoying a quiet Tuesday afternoon in the summer. But unfortunately, Jessica is here with us today. And she's here because just a few short months ago, her beautiful daughter, Sheridan, was shot and killed in Chicago by an illegal immigrant. I cannot say it loud enough or clear enough, but this nation and this Congress owes you an apology. We are sorry to you, to Tom, and to Madeline. I didn't know Sheridan personally, and that's a tragedy. But I know her family, and I know the Yorktown community. I know that she was a kind and compassionate young woman who cared about her community and had a bright future ahead of us. And I know without a doubt in my mind the incredible things she would have done with her life should she had been given the chance. Her murder was senseless. It should not have happened. Our immigration policies exist for a reason, and they should have been enforced. Sheridan would still be with us today, and Jessica would not have to testify before this panel. Our immigration laws facilitate legal immigration processes to ensure that good, smart people can come into this country, assimilate, and contribute to our communities, while also ensuring that criminals who break the law do not get to stay. Their jobs are made infinitely harder when places like New York and Chicago blatantly disregard existing law and provide safe harbor to criminals. Sanctuary policies
Mr. Chairman,
are the reason.
Point of order. This is a statement, not an introduction.
Lady's point is well taken. Gentleman, please confine his remarks to the introduction.
Thank you.
Back in May of 2023, over 3 years ago, Sheridan's murderer illegally entered the United States. Border Patrol caught him. They apprehended him. But then, because of the Biden administration's ludicrous open border policies, he was released into our country. A month later, he was arrested for shoplifting in Chicago. Under existing law and the law at the time, he should have been deported right then and there.
Point of order, this is not an introduction.
By our federal laws.
Point of order, this is not an introduction, it's a speech.
You should be ashamed of yourselves.
Mr. Chairman,
disgraceful.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
we
for
have
ruling on the point of order.
Mr. Chairman.
Precisely because you have failed to do your job.
Yes,
Mr.
You wonder
Chairman.
why we had 4 hearings? It's because you don't understand the consequence of sanctuary policies.
Mr. Chairman, unfortunately, we won't
suspend.
give our approval for people to introduce their constituents if people don't stick to the rules. So I appreciate the chairman's insistence that we stick to the rules and that you have the opportunity to introduce your constituent, which I think
and
you have
introducing
done.
my constituent
so thank you very
is-
much, Mr. Lawler and Mr. Chairman.
Sharing the
please have
details
committee
of her death.
be in
You may not
order.
want to hear the details. It may be an inconvenience to
Mr.
you,
Chairman.
but these details matter.
The gentleman will suspend. We have an agreement with the minority that the introductions will be introductory only. So if I could just ask for the gentleman to make that introduction and conclude.
Sure. When you send your kid to college, you should be worried about making sure they go to class, or hopefully that they have a nice roommate, or how to help them get a summer internship. Not worried that illegal immigrants are shooting them while they're out with their friends looking at the northern lights. It is shameful that we are here. Not because this is the 4th hearing, but because we need to have 4 hearings to make people understand the real life consequences of the disastrous sanctuary city policies. So while some of my colleagues may not want to hear the truth The same outrage you feel about Renee Good and Alex Preddy,
Mr.
you should
Chairman,
feel about
would you
Sheridan Gorman
please
and
end
Laken Riley
this-
and every Angel
end this
family in
statement?
this country.
I do feel that outrage.
You do not.
Do you-
because if you did,
Do
you
you
would
feel?
not support
Do you
sanctuary
feel the
jurisdiction.
outrage about
You
Alex
should be
Preddy and
ashamed
Renee
of
Good?
yourself.
You should be
ashamed
You don't
of
belong
yourself,
in this committee.
Jamie.
You should get the hell
You're a
out of here.
disgrace.
You don't understand the
You're a
rules of the committee.
disgrace.
You don't understand the Constitution.
You're a
Mr.
disgrace.
Full of
Raskin,
it.
Mr.
You're
Raskin,
an
full of
absolute
it.
disgrace
Mr. Raskin,
supporting
get a hold of
sanctuary
yourself.
Say
policies.
one word about
Get rid of
Say one
sanctuary
word about
policies.
Alex Preddy and
I
Renee
did.
Good.
I wrote a
really?
whole New York Times op-ed about it. You should be absolutely
then follow the
ashamed of
rules of the
yourself
committee.
for
Mr.
not
Chairman,
opposing
will be-
sanctuary policies that resulted in their daughter's death.
The committee will be in order.
Mr. Chairman, I just
going
want to
to-
say we will not allow, thanks to Mr. Lawler's outrageous outburst, we will not allow this to happen again. This was an agreement between
will
the
proceed-
chair and the ranking member, and unfortunately, you're not able to
We will
control your
proceed-
members, so it is time for us to proceed.
Your opening
Yes.
statement was
proceed-
outrageous.
we
You
will
should be ashamed of
proceed in
yourself.
order.
I yield back.
Get off of it.
Let's break down the sheer gravity of what you just witnessed. A truly unprecedented moment where Representative Mike Lawler completely flipped the script and turned the tables on a political establishment that desperately tried to use bureaucratic technicalities and parliamentary rules of order to sweep the devastating real-world consequences of their own policies under the rug. In a room thick with partisan tension and an undeniable reluctance to confront hard truths, Lawler stood remarkably tall, acting as an unflinching shield and a booming voice for the Angel families who have been left entirely devastated by a system that prioritizes optics over the safety of its own citizens. He did not merely fulfill the mundane administrative task of introducing a witness for the day's hearing. Instead, he forcefully brought the harsh, conniving reality of Sheridan Wall's heartbreaking story directly into a committee room that was clearly, palpably desperate to look the other way. With unwavering conviction, he stripped away the politically correct rhetoric, making it painfully and undeniably clear that the term sanctuary has tragically devolved into nothing more than a polite, sanitized buzzword masking the sheer, unadulterated danger now facing everyday American citizens in their own communities. When Representative Jamie Raskin and the Democratic leadership aggressively attempted to shut his microphone down, clinging desperately to the cold, rigid rulebook in an effort to silence his poignant narrative, Lawler utterly refused to fold or back down an inch. Instead, he fired back with a ferocity that sent the entire committee room descending into absolute, unmitigated chaos, and frankly, it was for incredibly good reason. What played out was a profound clash of values, where Raskin's frantic attempt to prioritize hollow procedural decorum over acknowledging the tragic, preventable loss of innocent lives was met head-on with the exact kind of righteous, unyielding fury that frustrated American voters have been desperately waiting to see from their elected officials. Lawler was not simply engaging in a standard, run-of-the-mill partisan debate over border enforcement or local municipality guidelines. He was actively and loudly exposing a catastrophic moral failure that has been allowed to fester, unchecked, in the halls of power. His resounding message to his colleagues sitting across the aisle was strikingly simple, yet devastatingly effective. You should be deeply and profoundly ashamed of yourselves. He masterfully called out the glaring, stomach-turning hypocrisy of politicians who eagerly manufacture performative outrage for select victims that fit a preferred political narrative, yet conveniently remain dead silent and rigidly adhere to procedural timeouts when an innocent student is brutally killed by someone who blatantly violated the law and absolutely should have been deported long before the tragedy ever occurred. Lawler outright refused to let the chairman's gavel or the ranking member's loud objections muzzle the undeniable truth, delivering an absolute masterclass in standing your ground, holding the line, and speaking truth to power right when the sprawling, suffocating political machine tries its absolute hardest to bury you beneath a mountain of red tape. He powerfully held up an uncompromising mirror to the very architects of these disastrous, open-ended policies, aggressively forcing them to look directly at the devastating human collateral damage they have created. In doing so, he undeniably proved that absolutely no amount of parliamentary tricks, desperate points of order, or manufactured outrage over broken decorum can ever succeed in silencing the truth when that truth is backed by real people experiencing unimaginable, very real pain. If you are sick and tired of watching the out-of-touch DC establishment consistently prioritize their precious, self-serving rules over your fundamental right to safety, security, and justice, then you need to smash that subscribe button right now because it is high time we send an unmistakable message that this kind of fearless accountability is exactly what the future demands. Mike Lawler didn't just win a fiery verbal exchange for the highlight reels today. He fundamentally exposed the hollow core of the sanctuary agenda and demanded that the voices of the victims finally take precedence over the comfort of the politicians. What did you genuinely think of Lawler's incredibly bold stand against the committee establishment? And do you believe that far more representatives should be willing to boldly break decorum and risk the wrath of the gavel to finally call out these catastrophic policy failures? Let me know your uncensored thoughts in the comments section below. Be sure to hit that like button to help spread the truth against the algorithm. And I will definitely see you in the next deep dive.